Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Todd. This is Greenhorn Barbecue Beer. And the Sassy Kitchen Queen, my better half, she's on the other side of the house working right now, taking care of business. We hope that you're all staying safe, that you're treating each other well, and that you're taking care of your family. So the other day I was in the Walmart and I was doing like everyone else is right now, looking for a few extra bits of food and paper towels and toilet paper, and what everyone else is doing, and I was in the meat section, and which was pretty much cleaned out of mostly small stuff and things like that. But what they did have were 4 briskets that were still left over, and a couple other large pieces of pork and maybe a chuck roast or 2. And this is a respectable piece of meat, 15 pounds, $3.46 a pound, I think is what they're charging. And what had occurred to me was that, or what I asked myself was, why is everything else gone but these big old hunkin' piece of meat's left? It occurred to me that most people probably in the area don't have large cookers, smokers, Traeger grills and what have you, or very large ovens, or maybe they just don't have the know-how to cook brisket like this in their oven. So what we're going to do today is show you how to do a brisket in the oven. And whether you're in an apartment or a house, condo, electric oven, gas oven, it doesn't matter. We're going to do this up in an oven. We're going to do it upright. So stick around. All right, so a brisket like this could probably feed a family of 4 for a few days, if not a week, especially if you slice it up thin enough and you make sandwiches or stew. A brisket can go a long way, and it's a very valuable piece of meat to have around the house if you're going to need some ready-made meals multiple days. So what we're going to do with this brisket is we're going to go for maximum yield. I'm not going to do any trimming that's really going to take away from much of it at all. I'm going to show you that I'm just going to slice it in half, season it up, and put it in the oven at 250. And on the back end, it should come out really delicious, and we'll have a maximum yield brisket, and it's going to taste really good. So you just wait and see. Let's start here with just a quick slice down the middle. Get this off. No, I'm really careful. Oh, it's spicy. Do like air too much as you can. Avoid the dripping it. And so probably not gonna do too well. Avoid not my hands on today. Take my hand. All right, so I washed my other hand, and we're ready for business here. Now, as you can see, this is a pretty nice piece of brisket here. Now, again, like I said, I'm not going to go for much of a trim here, if at all, except maybe this little piece here, just to satisfy the naysayers that you should trim everything away. But this is going to be cooked in the oven. It is a convection oven. Not all of you have a convection oven, but that's what I'm going to use today. Also, common area to cut away is this oxidized area back here. But you know what? I'm going to leave that on there. Again, I'm going for maximum yield here. Now, most people would spend time in separating the point from the brisket here. But you know what? We're not all butchers or wannabe competition barbecuers. So I'm just going to go right down the middle. There's no shame in this at all. It's not a sacred cow. It's not a special piece of meat other than you're cooking with love. That's what counts. Okay, now you have 2 separated pieces of meat here. Now really, I don't need this knife anymore. So we're going to set that aside. Okay, so now I'm going for maximum flavor. And believe it or not, mustard is good on brisket, pork butt, many other pieces of meat as a schmear. So I'm going to go ahead and shake it up first, a little bit, but if a little bit of water comes out, that's okay. And I'm just going to squirt it out. Doesn't take a whole lot, but it's really going to help in the flavor. You are not going to have a mustard taste when this is all done. Trust me on this. It's going to come out awesome. Okay, a little bit more. I've used a lot of I've used a lot of mustard on other cooks, pork shoulder, pork butt, and I believe even another brisket. Key here, get all the sides, especially the side you just cut. You can squirt it on your hand, get on the end there. Okay, I'm going to flip it over. Okay, now that piece, you know what? I'm going to cut off this little, I don't know if it's decal. I've heard people call this different things here. I understand not everyone's going to have a really sharp knife. That's okay. I'm not trying to impress you with a super sharp knife here. So I'm going to cook this right alongside the rest of the brisket. And this is going to be the nice little Pitmaster's little morsel here. So I'm just going to, now you could save this for other cooks. Put it in a Ziploc bag, freeze it. You can even freeze one of these here. You can slice them up, Ziploc baggies or saran wrap, even foil. Stick it in the freezer. That's okay. So I'm going to set that aside. There we go. Now I'm going to kind of concentrate on the red meat. Okay. Okay, now typically during a cook where you're not going for maximum yield, you're going to trim down this fat cap here down to about 1/4 inch. You're even going to feel for little harder, more dense areas here. But again, I'm going for maximum yield. I want to feed my family for as long as I can. And you could even use these leftovers if you do cut it away. Grind it up, feed it to your dogs, make some sausage. Sky's the limit. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so now I understand that not everybody that isn't used to smoking one of these briskets for a long time has all the fancy rubs and other condiments that you see us all the time with. So what I'm going to do is use a couple things that is pretty common around the house. I'm going to use the garlic salt that we've taken a little bit of Italian seasoning and mixed it in for other things. And I'm going to layer that first. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this one first. Now you can go on pretty thick with this because this is a big piece of meat. Okay, I'm going to start right here. Just work my way down. I want to get the ends. I want to get the back end, the side that you cut. Okay. Okay, got all the sides. Now, for a little bit of color, I am going to cheat a little bit here, and I'm going to use some of this Cosmos cow cover. Now, for a substitute, get yourself some paprika way deep in the back of your spice cabinet, spice drawer. Same effect, it's for color. Trust me on this, it's going to come out beautiful. Get the end. Most people have little paprika somewhere. Here's the time to pull it out and use it. Okay, it's going to give it a nice little color. And the cow cover happens to be really tasty. And that's it. Now I'm going to flip it over. Okay, now this is the side I'm going to do slightly different. Still going to do the garlic salt. Get the ends. Okay, what I'm going to do different here, then I'm going to get more of this cow cover. So what I'm going to do, I'm still going to use the cow cover on this side. Now this is the side that I'm going to cook up. Okay, and I'll show you why in a minute here. Now, I am going to go fat side down, okay? And what I'm going to do differently that I did on the other side is I'm going to put some of this Bruschetta seasoning mix. And it's going to give it a great texture. And again, most people have this sitting around. You can use a steak seasoning if you want. It's up to you. But I want to get some texture on here. Again, this little piece of decal or something that I cut off here, I'm going to be cooking this on the side. That'll be done much quicker, and I'm going to take that off and use that as a kind of a judgment on flavor. Okay. Okay, what I'm going to be doing with these two pieces of meat, I'm going to be putting them on two different cooking trays on a rack, and when I put it in the oven, it's going to be one above the other. My oven's already heating up to 250, and we're going to put it into the oven, so stick around. Here we go. Got the oven all ready for us. Now I'm going to put the flat on a lower rack because it is not as tall. And I'm going to put the point on the upper rack. And there we go. Now, as you notice, I'm using my meter probes in here on both of them, and I'll be monitoring the internal temperature from my cell phone. All right, that's all there is to it. Now, I'm going for 250 because we have time. I'm going to hang out today and just take care of business around the house. 250 is an ideal temperature to get that nice low and slow cooking. Now you could up it to maybe 300, 325, going for a little bit faster cook, you know, if you don't want to spend 12 hours like we're going to cooking this brisket. But now the question of wrapping is probably going to come up. Now, not everyone has butcher paper, pink or white, to wrap one of these briskets. But you know, I did see another YouTube channel, Mad Scientist Barbecue, Jeremy Yoder. He used shopping bags. Now, he used shopping bags out of necessity, but this is a time where this is definitely a necessity. So if you got some paper shopping bags around, go ahead and use them. Cut away all the areas that might have glued handles and any glue, seam glue or chemicals. But go ahead and use the shopping bags. You might be able to find some butcher paper at some of your bigger local shopping markets. Stick around till the end of this video. We're going to pull these brisket out, cut into them, and get a little taste test and show you just how delicious an oven cooked brisket can really be, especially in this times. All right, guys, we are going to check these out now. So I'm going to slide out the flat here. It's looking pretty good. It's looking really juicy, nice and steamy. And right off the bat, I notice there's just a lot of juiciness here, a lot of steam. You know, I have it on convection, and seems to be doing its job. So I'm going to check out the temperature here. Let's see what it's saying. Okay, it looks about going a little deeper, about 170. You know, I've been watching this on the meter, and it was holding at about 165 for a while. It finally broke a stall. Wasn't much of a stall. Again, I've been at 250. It's been cooking for about 3.5 hours now. So I would say this one's ready for wrap. So I'm going to roll that in. I'm going to check the point. Now, this is looking mighty fine here. There's the meter probe. Now I'm going to give it a twist and pull that probe out. See, it comes out nice and clean. And I think I'm just going to go right down there and check it out. Now, this is a thicker piece of meat, so I'd say, let's see, 155. I'd say this one probably hasn't reached the stall yet, which agrees with what I was seeing on that meter probe. So, so this one's going to continue cooking. Let me make sure that dripping pan is catching everything. I hate dirty ovens. And it is. Boy, look at all that juice down there. Oh, that looks really good. So I'm going to slide that back in. And I'm going to take the flat out, and we're going to go ahead and wrap that sucker. All right, this is not going to need a lot of paper. So I'm just going to use about that much. Okay. Okay, good rule of thumb would be, I guess if you can get 2 full wraps, that's probably enough paper here, so that's what we're gonna go with. There we go. Oh, that looks beautiful. Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. All right, and by the way, look at all them juices right there. That is just so good. You know what? I'm gonna clean this pan out because after I wrap, I'm gonna put it right on top of this pan. So I'm gonna pour these juices and scrape all these little chunks out here into a Pyrex, cover it. Oh man, that's gonna make some really good gravy. And we're just gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Okay, trick here, get it nice and tight. I like to kind of do this way. Okay. You can kind of fold it like a paper airplane. Bring it over again. And bam. There you go. Put it on our pan. Voila. Okay, this is going to go right back in the oven. It's going to continue cooking for 250 for I don't know how many hours, but you know what? When it is toothpick tender, get yourself one of these little cocktail toothpicks. When that thing goes in there like cold peanut butter, it's ready. We're not going to go by temperature here. You can, but trust me, it's already done if that's what's all you were doing. We're going for tenderness. Check it frequently in about 4 hours for a total of about 7 or 8 hours. And when it just starts getting to that peanut butter consistency, that's when you should pull it off. Otherwise, it's gonna pull apart. Maybe you're after some pulled beef. I'm not. I want to still be able to slice it, but I want it tender. All right. I don't have to tell you how good this smells right here. Just take a look at that. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. All right, guys, just like the last one. Look at that. Man, that is a beautiful, beautiful point right there. That's finger looking good. I'll move this around this way. There we go. And I'm just gonna roll. Okay, I'm gonna remember the fat sides right here. So I'm gonna come around again. And there we go. This time, I'm gonna go fat side up. Kind of switch it up a little bit. Put it in the pan just like that. Get a little bit of those fat juices to render down into the point. We're in the home stretch now. There we go. All right, guys. Looks like it's about 5 hours into the cook. So far this has been a really great cook. The point is a little bit behind on the flat. Of course, the flat is the thinnest piece of the brisket. It's probably going to get done a lot sooner than that point. That point's probably about 20 degrees behind the flat. So I'm going to keep the oven at 250. They're both wrapped now. And now I'm not even going to look at it for another 3 hours. And then I'm going to be going for probe tender. I'm going to be checking that flat piece first. When I pick it up, I want to feel a droop, kind of a little shake, but I'm also going to be probing it. I'm going to take that off. If it's ready, I'm going to put it in a cooler that I have. Most of you have a cooler. Let it rest. By the time that point is ready, so will the flat, and then you can enjoy dinner. I'm hoping for around 9 o'clock tonight, so we got about another 3.5 hours to go. That's what I'm hoping for. All right, guys, between cooking and resting, these briskets have been going for nearly 11.5 hours. Okay, we're gonna take out this flat here for you. I know I said point, but you know, I want to show you what we really can do with the brisket in the oven here. As you can see, this paper did its job. It captured all that moisture, but let the brisket breathe. Oh, look at that. It's got a pretty decent bark for being in the oven. It's gonna be pretty slippery, but I'm gonna go ahead and just plop this down. There we go. Okay, looks like the fat cap is pretty well intact. You can see still where the grain's running here. You can see where we cut it. And I'm going to go ahead and start cutting this right now. There we go. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. So obviously, you're not going to get any kind of smoke ring in here, but you're definitely seeing some fat rendered down. Definitely pulls apart pretty easily. That tastes great. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down the middle. Show you what's inside. It's just a nice piece of brisket. It is the flat. It's gonna be the leanest piece, but you know what? It's pretty juicy. And it's not bad. Okay, just to recap, we weren't looking for any kind of spectacular trim on this. I wasn't trying to trim it to perfection. I was going for maximum yield in the oven, no smoke. And this is what I got. I think it tastes really good. Babe, you want to taste? What do you think? Pulls apart pretty easily. It's not bad at all. All right. Not bad at all. A little bit of fat cap. This could be a lot of fat for a lot of people, but you know what? All right, that just makes it taste so good. Oh yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Okay, babe.
I'm telling you, if it wasn't so late, I'd open up that point, show you guys the nice, the good stuff. But judging from this flat, it came out juicy. It's a little dry, you know, it's a Walmart brisket. It's probably choice or less. But leaving that fat cap intact, as I cut it up, you know, you can play around with that fat. It sounds funny, but save some of that fat, render it a little bit more, juice up that meat, use some of that grease we got from the drippings earlier, make yourself a gravy. This stuff is just a bomb. So, regardless of your opinion, briskets can be done in the electric oven, which is just a simple seasoning you can find in your pantry. And you probably don't even have to wrap it up. Anyway, guys, hope you liked this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to smash that subscribe button, tap that bell so you don't miss a thing, and we'll see you on the next one.